Alright, so I'm back here making another video. Another tier list, and unfortunately another Five Nights at Freddy's tier list. Because I want to give my thoughts on all of these, and this is going to be done a little bit different. Instead of just doing like S, A, B, D, whatever, all that, and just being like, oh, here's this game, I thought it was pretty good, A tier, this game, not very good, S tier. No. Instead, I'm actually going to go like a traditional, legit tier list. Start from the bottom and go all the way up. Fuck off. Thank you. Okay. So, if we take a look at the tier list, haven't played. Obviously, I haven't played it. Um, I've played most of these games, at least enough to get an opinion on them. Bad. Either it's just not fun, or isn't scary, or not. I should say more of, because this game's not trying to be scary. More of it doesn't accomplish what it's supposed to accomplish. Um, Guilty pleasure means it's not very good, but I still enjoy it decently enough. Um, Pretty good. It's actually decent, and actually good and actually scary. The only ones I would actually recommend to horror fans. And listen, I know this is kind of a household name of a series, but I think I finally figured out, is this series scary or not? I think the series, it's the modern day video game equivalent of Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th. More specifically, Nightmare on Elm Street. Where, yeah, it's a classic. Yeah, the first was actually kind of good. But it's more of iconic and memorable characters than it is actually scary. Like, how many people have you heard that said, oh, the scariest movie I've ever seen was Nightmare on Elm Street? Because it's not. Usually they say movies like The Shining or The Thing. uh, Movies that are just generally scarier. Even though Nightmare on Elm Street is a more fun film to watch. You know, it's quirky, it's got memorable characters that are like enjoyable, it's got an entertaining villain. Although The Thing was pretty damn cool. But those are movies you watch to get in a scared mood. Where Nightmare on Elm Street, outside of its concept, it's not really looked back very well as. It's still a good movie, but like it's not a terrifying movie. And I think that's what these games are. They had a really good concept going for them, um, and they are enjoyable. They're fun games with memorable ass characters. I do like the characters in this series, but at the same time, they're not the scariest. Like, outside of little children who haven't played that many horror games, or people who have like very niche like animatronic fears, nobody's gonna say that these are the scariest games they've ever played. Maybe this one, maybe this one, maybe, but like most people would rather say like Silent Hill. Um, what was that game? You May Nikki. Is that what it was called? Uh, PT, Resident Evil. They'd most likely say a game that's trying to be actually scary. Whereas this series, it did try to be creepy at first, but it's gotten a little, well, you know, it's more of just a guy making games to entertain his fans because he genuinely appreciates them more than a series that's actually scary. And that's not to say Five Nights at Freddy's can't be scary. It absolutely can. Some of the games we're going to talk about later are actually pretty good. And you know, if you want a legitimate scare, I'd recommend like watching like some of the VHS videos. Usually, Squimpus has like a really good narrative, but I don't really need to recommend him because I think everyone knows about him. Meme Bear is a really good one. Like, uh, the imagery in those videos is phenomenal. Let me just look. Get fuck off. Um, one of my favorite videos, I'm just gonna do something really quick, is this one. Like right here. This shit. Like, this is genuinely pretty creepy stuff. Like, yeah, that. But these are, like, more just about, like, casual games. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I want to talk about the series as a whole. Okay, so we're going to start with haven't played, and that is, I haven't played this one. I know what this is. This is Pizza Special Delivery, I believe it's called. It's just a phone game. I like the jump scares themselves, but from what I've seen, it's just not very good. Just, yeah, it's okay. And also, I'm gonna put Help Wanted here. Unfortunately, I don't have a VR headset. I could just buy the game and play it on desktop mode, but it's a game meant to be, and I feel like I need the full experience. It is meant to be played in VR. I probably would be pretty damn afraid. I would probably put it in like this tier if I actually did play it, but yeah. Um, so those are the only two games I have not played. Now we're going to move on to bad, and my least favorite game in this series. This is going to be really goddamn controversial. I do not like Five Nights at Freddy's 2. This is by far the least fun game in the series. It's just, it's not even scary. Alright, I'm going to talk about some of the good stuff, because this does have some good stuff. First off, even though it didn't introduce a lot of animatronics, it has some pretty goddamn good ones. The puppet was pretty memorable. Balloon Boy was cool. The Withered redesigns was great. People like the Mangle, even though I'm not a big fan of the Mangle. I really love Toy Chica. She's actually pretty damn terrifying. Uh, Another unpopular opinion, I think she's actually the scariest character in the game. And it introduced a lot of the aspects with the lore and introduced characters like the Purple Man, uh, the entire, like, events. It introduced Fredbear's Family Diner. It introduced a lot of important stuff, so I can respect this game. But going back to it, this game is just not fun. It's not fun. It is so formulaic and it's just a pattern simulator. You very rarely feel like, oh, you barely get to watch animatronics slowly come towards you because the layout is really fucked. Like, let me take a look. Um, okay, go to this. All right, so here's the map. Yeah, right here. Okay, so in the first night, let's just be Bonnie. Okay, Bonnie is just over here, far away from you. Then he comes over here. And I believe he comes over here. Then here. Then in your vent. Because, like, if this was, like, the first game... Let me take a look. Bonnie would be right here. Then move out. Then go into the closet. The security room. And come out. Then slowly come towards here. Then go in here. And then go in here. And then to your office. It felt like it was getting, like, actually a little closer to, like, one line. Where here it's just, it's not that, because the majority of the map is, there's no camera. Like, this is the main area, and there's no camera. Like, Chica, she appears here, she appears here, and then she's, like, over here. She'll also appear in the light. And then she's in your bed. It's just really quick, because this game has just decided to add, like, 10 to 11 characters. And what ruins this game for me is, one, the puppet. It's way too over centralized. Like in the first game, it's the replacement for Foxy. It just check on Foxy. You didn't have to keep him in place. You just had to keep the cameras on and check on him every once in a while. This, you have to keep it on this camera, hold down the music box, which winds way too slowly, which ruins pretty much the game. It makes it super RNG dependent. Like, 20, 10-20 mode in this game, most of the time is impossible because of like it goes down way too fast and you have to wind up everything really slowly. And these guys will straight up bring down your camera. Sometimes they'll bring it down immediately and you have no chance to wind it up. It's way too RNG dependent. It's just ridiculous. It's not a fun game. And the other thing that ruins this game is Foxy. Foxy is, um, everyone pretty much acts the same. Sometimes they'll appear in your vent, just put on your mask. Sometimes they'll be in your room, you have to put it on quickly. The only other characters that are different is the puppet and Foxy. Foxy will just appear in your hallway, and you have to flash at him. Now, in the first two nights he appears on night 2 and 3, he's fine. He'll just appear occasionally, flash your light. But in every single other night, you have to flash at him for a solid hour, in-game hour, not real hour, and then he'll leave for like 10 seconds, and then he'll come back. That's what it feels like. So it feels like you're constantly having to flash down the hallway. And it's just kind of retarded. And if you don't flash him, like, for a solid, like, 7 to 10 seconds, because, I don't know, you're busy winding shit up, he'll kill you, no matter how much you flashed at him a decent amount. And the most insulting part is, in the custom night, where they actually do have little mini challenges, this guy's always on, and he's oftentimes even more active than other animatronics. Like, even if he's at 0, he's more active if someone was, like, at 10. It's that ridiculous. And, this thing constantly drains really fast. So it's never fun, because you're always having to balance these two on top of everybody else. It's not a well-designed game. It's not scary. Is it stressful? Yeah, it's stressful. But not in a way that's enjoyable. Like, a game like PT or Five Nights at Freddy's 3, we'll talk about this one later, they're stressful, but they're actually good horror. I always want to come back and play them, because they're just... It's... This game is stressful in the way that, like, the perfect run for Mario is stressful, or playing online against in a tournament game where you actually have money to win. Or even just not that, just in a tournament. Those are stressful too. They're not scary. And that's what this game is. It's just stressful. It's not scary, it's not fun. I just want to never play it. So that's why it's my least favorite game in the series. Did a lot of good for the series, lore-wise, character-wise, but as a game, no. The Gmod game, the Gmod version is much more enjoyable, but unfortunately they made it too goddamn easy. Because they got rid of the Foxy, and they got rid of the puppet. The puppet just, like, he'll sometimes break out, but the mask works on him. It's not even the mask. There's just, like, a closet behind you, and you don't even have to be in there. You can just leave the office, and they'll never get you. And it's fun, but it's more fun there than playing the actual game. And I do know the perfect balance was, where was it? In this one. In this game, Five Nights at Freddy's in this game is really goddamn good. Because you can do more than one thing. You can wind up the music box and also check for lights. Foxy's in the game, but he's much more manageable. He'll show up occasionally, but if you just flash him, he'll go away instantly. So he's still important. He's still a counter for Balloon Boy. He's still there. Like, if you get caught by Balloon Boy, whatever. And I also hate that argument that, oh, they have to make Foxy super active, otherwise Balloon Boy will do nothing. Well, one, you can't actually check the little vent lights when Balloon Boy's in your office, so those guys will kill you because you'll never know when they're about to come through. Or you can never check when they're gone. And two, if you want to make Foxy at least active, make him, like, appear every once in a while, and you just flash him, he goes away, that's it. He shouldn't be over centralized and the most active animatronic when he's at 0. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that game, and at later nights, like, in later nights of this version, you have 2 hands and you still need to there's still some strategy. Like, do you check on the lights with just one hand, or animatron with the withered thing? You want to keep your hand on the mask so you can put it on and take it off, and then check for lights, and then hold down the music box thing. Like, it's much better in this game. And plus, I didn't even mention the fact that of all the games, this one makes the least amount of sense. Like, people joke about, ha ha ha, why does it take powered closed door? My question is, why can't you just keep the mask on? When there's so many animatronics just constantly coming in your room, just keep the goddamn mask on. Check for Foxy when you hear him, and keep the music box wound up. In real life, it would be the easiest one to survive. And originally they had a toxic meter where I think it would like the game had a toxic meter where keeping it on for too long like kind of poisoned you, so you couldn't have it on for too long. That would have been preferable. It would have been made more sense. Still would have been kind of stupid, but it would have made more sense. So yeah, this game is pretty bad. I think the next bad game is Five Nights at Freddy's World. This is another pretty bad game. First off, the designs are almost all pretty bad. They don't really respect the character designs, and they're just stupid. Some of them look pretty good. For some reason, Springtrap looks good. Nightmare Chica looks pretty cool. Um, and especially Withered Bonnie's the only one that actually looks good because they didn't make him overly chibi-fied and give him a cutesy face. He still has like the robotic face, so that's all nice. Everyone else just looks stupid, like really really dumb. So that's pretty bad. Another thing, the gameplay is just really odd. First of all, it's a really short RPG. Second off, it's such an unbalanced game. It is ridiculously unbalanced. The strategy is not like what moves do you give to your certain characters or how do you use certain characters. It's which characters do you use. You're always going to want, if you want to be the best, you're always going to use the best characters. You're going to want to use Funtime Foxy. You're going to want to use Spring Bonnie. Sometimes Springtrap. RXQ is his name. Crying Child is a good support character. Nightmare Fredbear, Nightmare. You're always going to use the last couple of characters you get. And the first characters you get, they're garbage. They're absolute garbage, and they'll never be good. Even if you level them up to level 100, they're still going to be weaker than the characters, the last couple of characters at level 1. And it's all about the moveset. It's all about the moveset. And that makes no sense. It makes no sense. Like, I think the balance was supposed to be that the earlier characters were easier to level up, but it makes no sense because it doesn't matter because, like, levels don't matter in this game that much. They don't. Literally, they gave so little shit. Your character actually goes up to level 10,000. That's how little they give a shit. And you can beat most of the game while your team's like level 10. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I also hate how you unlock characters. You just go in certain sections, battle a couple of times, and hope that when you finish a random battle, someone will challenge you. That's literally how you unlock characters in this game. When I first heard about this when I was like 15, I'm like, oh, a game where I can actually use these characters? Yeah, they look stupid, but this could be cool. And the game came out, and nobody likes it. And then there's the Halloween update where they add more stuff, they add more characters that are even more overpowered. And they have these really shitty mini games that are trying way too hard to be funny and poke fun at the series. The only one I really liked was Foxy.exe, because I just like how it makes fun of Sonic.exe. But other than that, they're not very fun to play. They're way too obnoxious, especially the Foxy Star Fox game. Star Foxy. That was the point, wasn't it? Just not a very good game. It's not. I gave it a fair shot. It's just not very good. That's all I can say about it. There's not many good aspects of this game that I can enjoy. And the sad thing is, Freddy in Space 2 is actually a good game. Like I've seen people review it, and it's like a legitimate, not even good as a little like free game. It's actually a good game. It's a good Metroidvania. So he could have worked on a game similar to this and made it actually pretty damn good. And I hope he does in the future. So yeah, these two games worst in the series, and there's one more that I really am thinking about putting in bad. And this is another unpopular opinion, but I don't like Pizzeria Simulator. Actually, I'm gonna put it at the bottom of guilty pleasure. This game, 2/3 of this game suck. Like they're worse than Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Like the actual game where you manage your pizzeria is pretty fun, but it is fucking pointless because you don't get an ending based off like you managing your pizzeria well. There's six endings. One where you don't do anything special, you don't salvage any animatronics, and you just get fired. You get no certificate. That's it. The second is mediocrity, where is there an actual bad ending? I'm sure there is. There's the mediocrity where if you literally just do nothing, you don't salvage anything, you don't buy anything, you just literally click on finish as soon as your the pizzeria starts. Um, you're just so boring that they fire you. So that's pretty funny. There's the good ending where it's the pizzeria simulator, nothing at all to do with that game. It's all about the horror gameplay. There's the insanity where you buy like a thing called Egg Baby, and then you do like a little secret thing in the office phase, and you find a secret. Um, what are the ones? What were the other ones? There's one where you get go for bankruptcy, which I guess makes sense since it is a pizzeria, since it is a restaurant simulator. And then one where you don't lose money, all your money, but you are so risky that you get blacklisted. Those are the six endings, and they're none of them really mount. None of them really care. Like there's none of them that really result of you playing the game well. The only part of the game that's fun. It's all about the other stuff. There's one other thing with Lore Keeper, where if you get all three secret endings of minigames, but like it is not really worth it because yeah. I also really don't like the animatronics in this game, other than like a few, like Scrap Baby, and I guess Molten Freddy and Music Man are okay. Other than that, they're all kind of just stupid. They're fucking stupid. And now let's talk about the horror aspect. One is completely optional, the salvaging, which you don't even have to do. It can get you money, but like you don't even have to do because you can just still get animatronics by buying things. I don't even think buying things in lower quality. I was playing this game recently, and I actually did get a little scared. I played through the office phase just completely naturally. Wasn't really looking for anything. And then when I finished, I noticed when I got to the salvage section for Scrap Baby, it said that she was already inside the pizzeria. And that actually freaked me out. But I don't think that was intentionally scary. But that's the only time it's actually a scary horror game. But anyways, they just play sounds. You check them off to see how good they are, and if they move, you shock them. Usually, you want to. They have three. They have three stances. One where they're not moving at all. Another where they slightly move, and then another when they're aggressive. And then after that, they attack you. Um, it's whatever. It's not that bad. Uh, but other than that. Other than that, the last is the office phase. Okay, this game. Wait till watch your enemies and wait till they come to your office and close the door on them. This game, mostly the same except keep a music box wound up, and when they come to your office, put on your mask. Wait for them to leave. This one, um, try to keep them away from your office by playing noises and shutting off events when they get close by, and make sure all of your stuff is online. This one, uh, go up to doors and listen if they're there or not. Also check behind you to see if anything's there, and if something gets in your closet, you gotta keep that closed for every now and then. This game has an all. I'm not gonna rank it because that's a different type of game. This game is you can't watch your opponents like in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, and if you slightly hear something, shine your light on it. It's so boring and basic, and you don't even see them, which is just stupid. Like, it's so goddamn stupid. And you have three slight measures for fighting them. You have a scanner to check where they are, which takes way too long. You can place an audio that doesn't work most of the time, and you can make your ventilation silent, which is okay. Um, Also, you can turn off your fan if because it's really loud, but you need it every now and then. And I do like that you get ads every time you accept a sponsor, so it pays to sell out and not pay in the good way. You're paying you're paying to sell out. But overall, it's not very good. And to actually beat the later nights, you need like headphones, legitimately. Like this game is very audio based, but you don't need headphones for most of the time. The only time you really need headphones is like 420 mode and only on the nightmare section. Because otherwise, the audio stuff is noticeable. The problem comes in is do you think you hear it by hearing tiny noises? Or you also have to listen, you have to wait a little bit. And it's a scary game. But this one, sometimes you'll hear like very faint noises from one side of your office, and you have to turn, shine, wait for them to go away. And there's different like types where they're you hear moving out, and then there's ones where they're entering your vents. It's just not a fun game. And because most of the game is not good, I almost want to put it in bad. But the pizzeria stuff, while it is pointless and you don't get rewarded for doing it well, other than your own personal satisfaction, it's still pretty fun. So it's bordering on bad. But it is free as well, so it's not as harmful as this game. Still not good though. Next, we have Sister Location. And I do at least respect this game a little bit for mixing the formula up, because at this point people were getting tired of these games. Even though I don't really agree, I think we'll get to them later. Um, Either people like this game or they don't. And I really don't enjoy it, but it is better than these games, these three. Uh, the mini games are actually interestingly. This game's got a really weird difficulty curve. The first night, you can't die. The second night is the longest by far, and it's pretty easy for the first two sections. Just keep the door held shut and just move. If you hear a noise, then stop. But the Funtime Freddy shit is ridiculously tough and stupid. It's the only part that's actually kind of scary. Because it's not super. You have to keep moving and doing stuff or you die like in two, but it is pretty stressful. I did beat it a couple of times, but it's the only time where I'm actually like on edge. The third night, um, is really goddamn short. Just move quickly through Funtime Foxy, and it's hard if you don't know the strategy. But if you do, it's not hard at all.
Just flash, see if anybody's there. If not, run 8 steps, stop, flash, and rinse and repeat. Then the Bonnie section's a little bit more difficult, but it's still not hard. You have plenty of opportunities to beat it. Night 4 is ridiculously fucking tough. That section's dumb. And then night 5, you enter in a passcode, follow baby's instructions, and that's it. And then there's a couple of other secrets for alternate endings. Endings. So, I can't really say I enjoy any of the gameplay, because I don't. Other than maybe Funtime Freddy, even then it's still got annoying stuff. Like you have to constantly keep hearing the same mascot voices over and over again. You have to play like 5 to reset them. I often find. So yeah. Uh, when it comes to the other stuff, it's not really that great. But I do like that this game is a little bit different. So I respect it in that aspect. But I also want to say that the animatronics are really goddamn stupid. This is supposed to be around the same time frame as Fredbear's Family Diner and the original Freddy Fazbear's, where they look like this, and then they look like this, and they can like make ice cream, but they're also like killer robots if one person's in the room. It makes no fucking sense. And why does their faces move like this? Literally, the only reason they do this is just for the shitty jump scares. And I've already said in my character tier list, the jump scare noises are just stupid. They're just stupid. Hold on, let me play them. Um, so I can get. Ooh, nice. Let me just play this, just so you can understand what I'm talking about. They literally just sound like, and I finally found out the video where they sound like, you know that one video, that one Vine where like the kid got slapped with the fly swatter and he has that high pitched scream. Hold on, this one. Oh, this is a remix. Yeah, this one. That's what they sound like. That. Um, hold on. Let me. Sister location. That one doesn't count. This. Okay, so like that's Funtime Foxy, which sounds stupid as fuck. Wondering, can you actually hear this? Um, it should be. This one. That one's pretty goddamn obnoxious. That was N-words. Funtime Freddy's, which is the only one that sounds okay. He's like the only character that's like whatever. That's Balora's, and it's just kind of stupid. Yeah, that's the one that reminds me most of that Fly Swatter kid. They're all just really high pitched screams, and they sound ridiculous. I can't take this game seriously whenever I die. Sure, it's like startling, but it's so goofy. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of this game. I do at least respect the custom night because, like this game, it's 10 animatronics, but they're all like, they all do different shit. They're interesting. Not a single one is similar. Like, the only thing that can come close to that is there's 2 different versions of both Mini Renas and the babies. But one drains your oxygen, one drains your power. Whatever, that's fine. But otherwise, they're all like unique. And it's actually a difficult challenge instead of just doing the same thing and hoping luck rewards you. So still not a very good horror game, but I mean, I can. It's okay. It's fine. Last one, the biggest guilty pleasure is Ultimate Custom Night. This game is hard to take serious as a horror game. If this was just straight up horror games, it'd be at the bottom. The jump scares. Oh my fuck. They are so ridiculous. Ultimate Custom Night. Let me look up some of these. Either they look ridiculous, like this one. Hold on. Okay, not that. Yeah, like they just spaz their arms around and just or do whatever the fuck this is. Um, or they're this. Oh, not that. Oh, there we go. Oh, where the fuck is it? No, 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 no. Get back here. Get back here. Get back here. Where is entered? There it is. It's just a single image. It's going back and forth. You know what this looks like? One of Nostalgia Critic's dances from my video, Nostalgia Critic Dance Party. You know this video. I'm gonna mute it just in case. Um, it looks like this. Like, tell me it doesn't. Tell me it doesn't. So, like, the jump scares are horrible, but I will say, it is pretty fun. Oh, and I also forgot to mention the cutscenes. The anime is kind of stupid, but it's silly. The Toy Chico ones are just uncomfortable and make it hard to take this game seriously. I will say, the one thing that ruins this game a little bit, Dee Dee. Fuck Dee Dee. What was the point of this? The reason I like this game is because you can either make it a really easy night, um, or you can make it really difficult, and you can choose the animatronics you want for different experiences. And for the most part, they're all pretty different, with a couple of exceptions, like Nightmare and Nightmare Fredbear are pretty much the same. Uh, Toy Bonnie and Toy Chica are the exact same. But other than that, they're pretty. There's a lot of things going on in this game. But Dee Dee will just randomly. Sometimes Dee Dee will be like, "Uh oh, I'm gonna throw in another animatronic, and I have no idea who. You have no idea who it is, and I'm not gonna be able to. I'm not gonna tell you. So you're most likely just gonna die. So the game's just punishing you for no reason. Um, so that's kind of bullshit. But there is a lot of gameplay elements, like for uh, the plush animatronics, where you have to buy a plushie to not die by them. You can either do that or just cam stall them for like an hour. And then for other animatronics, or you can buy a death coin, and if you don't feel like messing with a particular animatronic, like the puppet or both Foxies or Toy Freddy, you can just turn them off. Like, finding 10 Phascoids is difficult enough, so just disable them, and that's that. So it's a fun game. It's exactly what I like from this series. Just good old fashioned fun, but as a horror game. Uh, yeah, it's not the best. What is this one? Yeah, it's just. What the fuck is this? Okay, so now we're moving on to pretty good, and there's only one game in this tier, the original game. So yeah, these two are like these two are my favorites, which is kind of controversial, but I will talk about that in a second. Now let's talk about the original. And I think this game on its own works the best because I think it plays off the idea of characters slowly coming towards you when you can't stop them, like actually stop them from coming towards you. You can only postpone them. You can only like block them when they're at your door, which is, it actually has a pretty good feeling of dread and anticipation, not just of a jump scare, because you're scared even if you don't know what's about to happen when you lose. And although the jump scare being the payoff is pretty shitty, there are at least other elements of this game that are decently good. Like the atmosphere, really good. I think this game has the best atmosphere. Um, in the earlier nights, sometimes things will change. Like sometimes you're just looking like, sometimes animatronics are gonna look right at you, which is rare, but it's cool. Like Bonnie, when he's in the parts and service, he'll just be standing away, and sometimes he'll be up in front of your camera for a bit. And I really like how there's the only audio you hear is that buzzing, which actually is a little creepy. But then when things start to come towards you, there's actual ambience that's pretty damn good. Um, it's creepy. It's a good horror game. If it had better payoffs than jump scares, and really obnoxious ones at that, or because later on the night you don't, they move too fast for you to constantly check on where they are. So you just have to wait for them to appear at your door and check on either Freddy or Foxy. Mostly Freddy. And Freddy's a cool villain because he's the most mysterious on how he works. And he's the actual toughest. Like, the toughest in this game are characters that aren't Freddy, unless you want to count Toy Freddy. This game, the main enemy's like Ennard, and Secret Night is the hardest part of the game. This one, there really isn't a toughest enemy, and Molten Freddy, I guess. That's not Freddy, that's Ennard. And then there's Lefty, who's the puppet, so that doesn't really count either. This game, the toughest enemy is the puppet and Marionette. In this game, it's Springtrap. In this game, it's anybody but Freddy. Freddy's the only one who sucks. But in this game, Freddy is actually by far the toughest opponent. And he's the scariest, too. That's nice. Well, I do think Bonnie is really freaky looking in this game, actually. So, this game's actually pretty good. Not amazing, not something I would play to be genuinely scared by or had a really good time with, but it's a classic. So, now we have two games, and which one do I think is second place? The next game is Five Nights at Freddy's 4, the final chapter. Now, the only problem I have with this game is it's too patternistic. But otherwise, this is the scariest game in the series. And it's not because of these character design, it's all about the gameplay. It's all about going up to doors and constantly listening for if they're there or not. Because if they aren't there and you shut the door, then you're kind of stuck there. And then they'll go up to your door and never leave until you open it, flash your light. Oh, they kill you. If they're there and you flash your light, they kill you. So you have to make the constant right move a lot of the times, and it's genuinely a stressful time. And I mean stressful in a way that's actually scary. You're not constantly moving, it's stressful because it's a scary situation, the fear of the unknown. And because of that, this game's really good and it has some good ambience, even if it's made by a music company, actually. The atmosphere is pretty good in this game. It's just a it's just a fantastic time. I actually had a scary time playing this game. The one problem is it's too effective. I don't enjoy playing this game as much. I know you can say the same for this, but this game isn't. I don't get the feeling of scary. I get the feeling of like you're constantly moving. It's not fun. This game you are moving, but it's at a slower pace, and the way you counter your enemies is actually scary. So I really enjoy this game. Great game. Great game. And I do like the character designs. Other than the shitty Halloween update ones, like the puppet who looks stupid, Balloon Boy who looks goofy. Um, I really like the redesigns. Even if they're not the scariest, they're still pretty ominous. They're really cool looking. And I really like the proportions where they got the big bigger heads. They look a little bit more bulky. Freddy's actually a little interesting. He's a little anorexic in this game, which makes him stand out. And like, yeah, he stands out in this game, so it's pretty interesting. Uh, but then, of course, there's Fredbear. It's really cool that Fredbear's in this game. I also like the little. This game has its own little story. It still adds to the lore for an overarching story, but it still has its own comprehensive story in its own right. You play as a kid, and the reason these guys look so over the top is because this is what a kid finds scary. It's got sharp fingers, sharp teeth, it's torn down, it's got like glowing red eyes. That's what a kid would find scary. And a lot of this is just like, checking on your bed, checking in the closet, going up the doors and the cold at the night and hearing if something's there. And it's all based on these characters because his dad, who's purple guy, has little Fred bears that act as almost like cameras. They're always watching him. They freak him out, so they don't like that very much. He doesn't like animatronics, but everyone keeps harassing him and causes him to have nightmares. And then the Bite of 87, except it wasn't the Bite of 87, it was the Bite of 83. I like that it was Fredbear who did that. And I like how he's the only animatronic on Night 5, but he's still harder than the others, because you have to do other stuff. I don't know if he's harder. It's arguable. It's arguable. But a really, really good game. Great horror game. So yeah. And my favorite of the series is Five Nights at Freddy's 3. I think this game is the most well designed and best in the series. Yes, I know this is the game that people like to argue on the least because it has bad jump scares. Guess what, though? First off, no, it doesn't. I think Pizzeria Simulator in this game has much worse jump scares. But two, jump scares don't matter. It's all about the gameplay. Like, this game has really bad jump scares too, where this game has really bad jump scares too, but it's about everything else that makes it good, and this game is really good. I really love Springtrap. He's one of the best villains. He's this character that answers to who Golden Freddy is slightly, while being his own character. He's the second character who Spring Bonnie's not important. He's just a yellow version of Bonnie, who's not, other than being in the first pizzeria, isn't that important. But it's like his tie-ins with Purple Guy, where he's used to lure out children, and how he was uh, deeply mangled and crushed in the suit to become this terrifying villain. And of course, hold on a second. Springtrap rap. Yeah. These are legitimately pretty goddamn creepy. Like, not only is the sound terrifying, but like you can see his face in there as he's trying to breathe and escape. Especially the third image, where you can see his nose and his mouth and his eyes. It really reminds me of hold on a second, let me go back to the Moon Bear. One of these videos where this one in particular, one of
Hi,
the
I am
previous
Bonnie Bun Buns.
parts in these videos, this. It really reminds me of this, which is really good. Yeah. Um, so he's a great villain, one of the best in the series, and I really, really love the gameplay. Everything about it feels so perfectly fine-tuned, and it's easy to fuck it up, because in this game I don't like it as much. The Gmod version, because yes, there is a Gmod version, is broken and doesn't work. Because it's not as fine-tuned as the original. I like how every camera, there is no one good spot to keep him in. Every place has a little drawback. Cam 9 and 10 he can change to back and forth, and they both have dangerous vents, especially Cam 10. It's safer for him to be in Cam 10 because if he moves, the only place he'd move next is Cam 9. However, there is a chance that you um, seal off Cam 10 and bring him over to Cam 10, so then you have to go like reboot something. He enters an event and he entered in Cam 9 and now is outside your door. There is a chance for that. There's Cam 8, which has no vents, but he can go into a bunch of different areas, and it's hard to figure out where he went. And the puppet appears later, and he's the most hard to deal with Phantom if he gets you. So that's pretty difficult. Um, Cam 7 and 6, you can keep them in a little circle between 7, 6, 8, and 5. But Cam 7 has a vent, and has a chance for both Balloon Boy and Chica to appear, which is not good. 6 is pretty good because it leads next to 5 and 7. One with a vent, one. But 5 has a vent too. But the bright side is there's no Balloon Boy there. It's the only cam, one of the only few that doesn't have any vents. 5 and below are all pretty dangerous. 3 and 4 don't have any vents, but he's really close to you, and if you fuck up, then he can get to you. 2, um, he can either go to 4, he can go to 5, or he can be outside your office, and if he's outside your office, there is a chance you can play a noise and he'll leave. But if he goes from to your office to like the next area, that's the point of no return. You can't get him back up to Cam 2 or higher. And that point, if you're late into the game, you can keep him at Cam 1 or right outside your door, which is actually a nice way of. It's actually kind of a nice way of making the night go by slowly, like this game with the power meter, the power system. And not like this, where you can practically just do it forever until RNG fucks you over, or like your flashlight runs out of power. This game, eventually, because unless you're like ridiculously good, eventually you're uh you're gonna fuck up, and he's gonna get you to there. But I remember one of my best memories was I was playing Night 6, I believe. And the whole Cam 10-9 situation I talked about he actually happened. I had to spend 4 hours between the hallway where he was outside my door and him being in Cam 1. And like I was at the cusp of it. He actually entered my room. I was checking the cameras, and I won. It was really cool. I also like that the cameras are grainy, and I forgot the cameras are grainy, and he likes hiding. So if you lose him, you're gonna be frantically checking where he is, and you don't know where he is. Sometimes stuff goes offline. Um, you hear him entering a vent, and he's not in one that you sealed off, so you gotta quickly find him and seal it off in time before certain death. It's all really good. I love the design of this game. It's such a well-designed game, and it's got an amazing end to the series. It's actually really peaceful and nice. People like the ending of this game. I think 3 did it a lot better. I really like how it ends with Springtrap getting his comeuppance by watching him get crushed into the suit and being set on fire and dying. And then there was the original animatronics, their spirits are finally set free. It's a really nice ending to the series. But then they had to go on with this game. Although this game stopped the puppet, Springtrap again, and then both Baby and Ennard. But people argue that Ennard is the original spirits crammed into one pot, which doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't know. I don't fucking get it. Like, I almost have a grasp on the full lore of the series, but like, there's just a couple of stuff that still don't make any sense. So, um, but yeah, other than that, this is just a great ending, and I like the little story you get where the animatronics in the at the end of the first game all get taken apart by the Purple Man. I'm not calling him Willie Mafton. I like Purple Man much better because makes him more mysterious, makes him a little creepier. Purple Guy's a little goofy, but the Purple Man is it makes him ambiguous. And then he plays the ghosts, and you find out Springtrap's origins, which is kind of nice, and it makes him a much more memorable villain. And the Phantoms, I think, are really nice ways of bringing back older members of the cast. And once again, not really any of them play similarly. Mangled disables your audio. Puppet just sticks around and makes it so you can't do anything for a bit. BB just appears all over the place. Chica's only in one camera, but after she doesn't immediately kill you, jump scare you like the others, but instead, like just waits for you to turn and then has a really good jump scare animation where she just rushes at you and it's pretty creepy. Freddy's outside your door and you can't look at just anything. You have to look at something until he goes away. Foxy will just randomly appear, so you have to use really quick reflexes to look back the other way. So, I think all of that being said, it's such a really well designed game that I love playing. It's such a good. It's fun. It's scary. It's not as scary as 4. I think it's on the level of 1 on terror scary level. I don't really find either of them to be. I think, in my opinion, this game I can see being more scary, but I don't find it that scary anymore. This one I do have a little bit of feeling of dread when I play it. Just a great game overall. It has a nice ending, nice story, good characters. 3 is just awesome. I love 3. One of my favorite horror games. Not particularly one of the scariest. I still think that's easily PT. But yeah, these games are very good, and I don't like how people consider this when the series was at the lowest of the low, because, in my opinion, these are the best games. I also like you get a good rewards for beating the game completely, and that is you get cheats, so you can replay the game with cheats and make it more fun, even though it doesn't have custom night. But then again, how do you have custom night for this game? So that's the list of that's my list of these games. There's not much else to talk about. I think these games are really good, and I've already explained in pretty full detail why I think about the way I do for pretty much all of these games. And that's gonna do it. So I know not anyone's gonna agree with this list. I know people like 2. They say this game's top tier, and they say this game's bottom tier. They say this game's great. They say this game's great. They say this game's not very good. But I don't really care, because in my opinion, um, I don't know if it's right here. In my opinion, uh, I think other than these two, which if you ignore this, I think this is a good summarization of my feelings towards the series. A couple of them are bad. These games are okay, not very. Some are. This one's on the tail end of bad. This one is on the tail end of good. Um, this one's genuinely pretty good, and these are actually games I think are very enjoyable. So that's pretty much it. It's a nice little series of games. I know there's about to have Security Breach. I don't care. I'm not gonna. I might get it. Yeah, I probably will get it. I don't see it being that good though. I can see the White Bunny being like Springtrap, and the other animatronics are there to help you. But it's mostly going to be a free roam, and we'll have to see how good it is. Um, yeah, we'll just have to see. But for now, for this little indie series of horror games, this is my thoughts on the games. So that's going to do it for me. I'll see you later.